Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to do another episode of Will It Fail? And I did announce this in my November update video, but I was waiting for some numbers to come out, and today we finally did get a few budget numbers on Cats, although they are alleged. So I may do an update in the description of this if we get some more solid numbers a little bit later on, but for now I'm going to use those in a hypothetical sense, and I might use another set of numbers too later on to maybe, just in case it's a little bit lower than what they're estimating. But we will be doing the standard Will It Fail breakdown, so we'll start off by looking at the director and the cast and all that. And the director, Tom Hooper, really I can't say anything bad about him. I mean, he's done some pretty decent work in the past. He's won Oscars. He did Les Miserables, which was a very well received musical starring Hugh Jackman and Anne Hathaway and Russell Crowe. He also did The King's Speech with Colin Firth, which won an Oscar. I think several Oscars actually. And he has a good credibility, and he's somebody who has pulled off good musicals in the past. So, musicals aren't necessarily my thing. I don't necessarily like them all that much. But if you're gonna have somebody do a musical, you might as well have somebody that's done them successfully in the past. Again, not my thing, but he can do good musicals, so we'll see how that goes. But I can't take points off for that. That's a very good choice for somebody to direct this type of a film. Now we move down to the cast. Now the cast, again, when you're doing something like this, you should probably have a musical cast, and they generally do. I know Taylor Swift has been has really been touted for this. You also have who was it? Jennifer Hudson is in this again, another really good singing voice, and then you also have some good actors in this as well. You have people like Ian McKellen and Idris Elba, and you also have some random ones mixed in there like Rebel Wilson and James Corden, and a few other ones that are kind of just mixed in with the group. But it has the star power, it has the talent, it has the musical talent, at least the vocal talent behind it. I wouldn't consider Taylor Swift necessarily a musical talent, quote unquote, because I think her music is very generic. And again, it's not my thing, but she does have a very good voice, and she can hit those notes and do the things that she needs to do in regards to putting out a good musical in terms of this. And I can't remember if she's done anything like this before, or if she's done, I think she may have done a movie before, but I don't know if she's done anything to this extent. But they've been toting that, she's helped write some of the music and stuff like that. So, is what it is. But I can't take points off for the cast, again, because I think that they've mixed in a good amount of vocal talent in addition to a good amount of acting talent. So, like I said, I can't take points off for that. Now, as for the film itself, we have had two trailers that have come out. I have seen both of them, and the visuals are creepy. That's the only way that I can put it, is the visuals are creepy. And I will say this again, is that this feels like a furry movie. And I did a little bit of a rant video on this when the first trailer came out in, I believe it was July, right around Comic-Con. And it doesn't really, it's not pleasant to look at. The actual visuals of the film, even though it's very good CGI, I feel like I'm looking at a furry convention. It's not something that I necessarily would like to watch, especially not for 2 hours. And I feel like it's odd to turn the actors themselves into these cat-human hybrid looking creatures. Now look, I get it when you're on when the show is on Broadway. You have to have the people dress up like cats, because you can't actually have, a living cat there singing, obviously. So the people have to dress up like cats and pretend they're cats. I get it for a theatrical sense if you're doing an on-stage play. But if you're doing a movie, I have no idea why you couldn't just make CGI cats and then put the voiceover work into the cats. It makes so much more sense to do it that way, and it's probably a lot less expensive than doing the mocap they had to do for this thing. So it's very bizarre to me why they would make this choice, unless they were directly modeling it after the play. Again, I feel like it's creepy. I feel like it's creepy because at least when you're watching them on stage, you can tell it's okay. It's a costume, it's face paint, and they're supposed to be pretending and stuff like that. It doesn't feel like you're watching a strange piece of media. With this, it's supposed to be set in some kind of a semi-realistic world. I mean, we don't see any people as far as I can tell in this, but you look and you see, like, if I'd be curious what these actors got paid to sacrifice what was left of their dignity, but this is just, it's a weird visual. It doesn't work. And again, it can be done a lot better in 3D and even 2D animation. Look, let's be fair here. This could have probably been completely avoided if you had gone with full 3D animation and you had made this just a 3D animated film. And I think it would have worked a lot better. I think it would have probably attracted a lot more people because, again, I think the visuals in this are going to give children nightmares. Like, this is just weird and creepy. So, that's a huge drawback for me, just the visuals of it. And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people that watched that trailer and had a very vitriolic and strange reaction to it because of those visuals. Like I said, the singing in the trailer is on point. It's fine. Again, it's a musical, so, that's kind of something that has to be there. But, there's nothing overly drastic about it. But, I take off major points for that because that's outrageously freakish looking. But moving on from the visuals to the actual, they do a good job with the dance choreography and stuff like that. It doesn't look like that's terrible. But again, if it wasn't a cat-human hybrids doing it, then it would probably make, it would be better. But again, I get what they're trying to do. It's just it's not executable in this fashion. But now we move down to, I think, one of the bigger things. And see, this is the thing. This movie is coming out on December 20th of this year. Now, I would assume, based on the subject matter, that this is mainly going to be aimed at probably people, I would imagine younger people, probably mid to late 20s, maybe some theater buff people. Probably kids too. Again, it's kind of it's an animated film. You got Taylor Swift in there. You got all these people in there that are kind of Idris Elba, people like that, people that are known more to younger. Well, I shouldn't say more to younger, but Taylor Swift is definitely more of a person to the younger generation, teenagers and stuff right now. So I would assume it's aimed at that, and I feel like Star Wars, which is coming out, I believe, the following week, is going to, or maybe it's the week before actually, but it's around the same time. Star Wars, I feel like, is going to eat right into that movie's production, right into that box office for that film, because you're going to have some amount of overlap. I think that trying to release in the Christmas date with a Star Wars film coming out, even though I don't necessarily think that Star Wars film is going to make as much money as people think it's going to make, I think that it's a good possibility that Star Wars will eat into the profits of this film. And that is colossally bad if the numbers that we're looking at for the budget are true. And now we're going to go into the budget. We got reports out today. Again, these are allegations. I will do a budget breakdown for maybe a lesser number or something that might be a bit more likely. But the budget number we got today was $297 million for this film. Now, to put that in context, you're looking at some outrageous numbers if you're talking about $297 million for a musical. This isn't Avengers Endgame. This thing is not going to make billions and billions of dollars, or at least it shouldn't. So the fact that you would invest that much money into it, and again, I'm not sure if that may be, again, this is an alleged number, so I'm not necessarily saying that number is set in stone, but if a studio spent that much money on that fucking movie, you're never seeing that money come back, because you would need to make about $750 million to break even. Cats is not making $750 million. I think this movie might be lucky to break the $500 million mark at this point. But to put it more plainly, I think that number is a tad outrageous for the type of budget, unless the motion capture that we're seeing on screen it cost a buttload to make. Again, that would go more towards the argument of making actual just CGI cats that look like real cats that sing. That would probably be a million times cheaper than doing this if these numbers are correct. Now, for maybe a more modest estimate, I'd say maybe, at tops, maybe around 200 million was what I would have probably placed this at because of the CGI work and stuff that's in it. And if that's true, you're looking more along the lines of a 500 million. So I think this movie, if you're looking at that, I think this movie is close to breaking even, if not maybe a little bit of a profit. But I don't think this movie is going to be very financially successful. I would put the box office for it somewhere between the $500 and $600 million range for worldwide. Again, I don't think this is going to do very well in foreign markets. Cats is, it's been on Broadway for a number of years. It might do good in Europe, actually, now that I think about it, but I don't think it's going to hit very big in the Asian markets. I think this is going to be kind of a weird thing. It might be like kind of one of those weird spectacle things. I have no idea if this is getting a China release. I doubt it's getting a China release because, again, it's kind of weird. And, the animal-human hybrid thing, they don't want the citizens getting wind of that. But there's not. I don't think there's a lot of potential for this film to, make a lot of money. Like I said, I think it's going to make between the $500 and $600 million mark, and that's where I'm going to leave it now. If those budget numbers that are alleged are coming out are true, I think this movie is going to lose a lot of money at the box office. Again, you're looking at like a $200 million loss roughly if you're looking at it from that perspective. So it would be very, very interesting to see what this does opening weekend and what it does in the following weekends. How big of a drop off it's going to have. I think this might have a decent opening weekend, given the fact that I don't think it has much competition on the weekend in question. But I think Star Wars comes out the following weekend. If that is, as long as that's true, I think that next weekend you're going to see a significant drop off in the revenue for this film. But I want to know what your opinion is. Are you excited for the movie Cats? Do you like the Broadway play? Do you like what they've done here with the creepy furry visuals? Put your thoughts in the comments below. Again, I'd like to know what you're thinking. Hit the bell for notifications, hit the like button, subscribe, and remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?